Many so-called religions throughout the world feel that this community is an abomination. They feel that this is not natural and that this is a choice. These individuals feel this way because they simply lack the knowledge of an individual droplet, a soul. They don't know how the soul works, and they lack the knowledge of the soul's journey from human conception to adulthood, from one lifetime to the next. Hello and welcome to Unientity. Today we're going to be doing our third video. I have to say this before the video starts, that this topic that we're going to be talking about today is extremely touchy. So I would love for you guys to leave your comments below. Let me know what you think your opinion is on the topic. Today we're going to be talking about homosexuality and the transgender and the entire LGBTQ community. Now, before we get going into this topic, the LGBTQ community is a widely discussed topic that continues to divide many people of different so-called religions and cultural backgrounds. Most importantly, it is essential to address why certain members of this community are filled with anger and hate, and to learn more about the science and the history behind their unique way of life. This video will discuss the LGBTQ community, and it will provide insight into their existence and why they feel the way they do. And when I say they feel, I mean the soul within each human. The soul is key here. It is important to understand the transition that the soul undertakes. Despite claims made by certain so-called religious groups that the LGBTQ individuals have chosen their lifestyle, this is not the case. Unientity and the Book of Knowledge and Life have identified one reason and one reason only for the existence of this community: the history of the individual droplet, which is the soul. Okay, remember what I'm saying. It is the history of the individual droplet, the soul, that factors in. Biologically, gender identity is typically determined prenatally due to the presence or lack of certain hormones in the wombs, such as estrogen, testosterone, and other things. However, this has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Once an individual learns how the soul actually works, then this biological theory goes right out the window. It actually clashes with every Unientity theory on the LGBTQ community. Furthermore, genetics cannot influence sexual orientation, and it does not matter how many cases or studies were done on this matter, because if an individual does not factor the soul into the equation, then the study simply isn't viable or valid. The human soul has everything to do with this transition that occurs with the human body from conception to the individual's growth to adulthood. Unientity has their own claim. Unientity claims that it is the soul and the journey of the soul that makes the soul crave for a specific gender. To crop it down to an understanding, for all to understand, we need to talk about the soul's journey. A typical individual droplet, remember, an individual droplet is a soul. A typical individual droplet's journey, which is known to humans as a soul, will live several hundred or even thousands of lifetimes. Did you hear what I said? A soul can live several hundred to several thousand lifetimes. When a soul leaves a body, and when that body expires, when that body dies, that soul then goes on a journey to go into another body, to live another life. However, that soul must return to the entity, to what humans would call heaven. Before it does this, it awaits the moment it needs to return to a body. If a soul has lived a certain amount of lifetimes as a specific gender, then it is only fair to say that that soul is conditioned to live that gender's lifestyle. When the soul changes gender for the first time since its entire existence, then it is incredibly difficult for the soul to cope with its new environment. The human has no choice because the soul has been conditioned. We will go into several different ways this can affect the soul, and how rebirth works, and how condition of the soul works. This is extremely important. If we're going to understand the true nature of the soul and how a human psyche works. Discrimination against the LGBTQ community is the discrimination of the human soul. If it is the discrimination of who you are and how the human soul actually deals with this transition, therefore, there cannot be any discrimination whatsoever. This chapter is devoted to the entire LGBTQ community. This is a topic that the so-called religions are against, and even individuals that belong to these so-called religions are ridiculed for being a part of this community. I changed my entire outlook and the way I thought of this community, and I immediately said to myself that humanity will most definitely want to hear about this in order to accept this community and their struggles. Accept them and why they feel the way they feel. And before we go any further, I want to let you know I myself am not a homosexuality or a transgender, or am I a part of this community. I am simply explaining the knowledge that was given to me on this topic. Many so-called religions throughout the world feel that this community is an abomination. They feel that this is not natural and that this is a choice. These individuals feel this way because they simply lack the knowledge of an individual droplet, a soul. They don't know how the soul works, and they lack the knowledge of the soul's journey from human conception to adulthood, from one lifetime to the next. The knowledge they have been given on the LGBTQ community are 100% false. These individuals do not have a choice at all. You're going to learn for the first time in human history why these individuals feel the way they do. Homosexuality and transgender and the entire LGBTQ community were all created for one reason and one reason only. Before I give you this knowledge, I want to make this extremely clear. Although I understand the reason why people feel the way they feel, and that it is not a choice, this does not mean that I stand by certain parts of this community. I do not believe that adults should ever subject children to this community simply because the parents feel a certain way and want to subject their children because of how they feel. I do not believe that children should receive any type of surgeries or hormones or hormonal medicines of any type of medicine to change who they are. Any changes should be made when they are adults. The same goes for teachings as well. Other children who are not having this journey in their life should not be subjected to this community whatsoever. Let me say this again. Children should not be a part of this community whatsoever. Now back to my explanation. I am here to do this. I'm here to do this to explain in detail why humans feel the way they do and how the soul works. That's it. What I say is factual knowledge that was given to me to communicate with humanity. This knowledge explains why these individuals are the way they are and why they feel the way they feel. I simply am sharing that knowledge that I've been given with each and every one of you. You have the choice to accept the knowledge or reject it. This community does not have a choice in the decision making regarding their feelings. This is not my opinion. This is knowledge that has been given to me to share with you. I've been sworn to share all of the knowledge, regardless of how it makes others feel. And before we start, I want to share with each of you that God is genderless. Many individuals believe that God is a man because their so-called religious books say that men were made in God's likeness. This simply is not true. God is neither man or woman. The human soul is genderless, and that soul is neither man or woman until it enters the human vessel. Genders are not given until a soul enters the vessel. However, a soul is conditioned the same way a human is conditioned. And what does that mean? Once a soul has entered its vessel for the very first time, then that soul is given a gender. This gender stays with that individual lifetime after lifetime, unless the vessel is not suitable to enter. If a human vessel is sick or defective in any way, or if the soul knows that this particular human vessel has a short lifespan, then it will not enter that vessel. Many souls have waited a very long time to return to a vessel. Therefore, they are not given a choice to either enter another human vessel or to return. In other words, they either have to enter the vessel or return to the entity, what you would call heaven, or you might know it as heaven. And to wait again. Many souls choose to take whatever human vessels that are available, regardless of what gender that human vessel is. So let me explain in complete detail what I'm actually saying. So let's say a human has lived as a male for 10 lifetimes. Now remember, you do not get to choose your gender because the first lifetime you live, that gender is random. And that gender you're given on your first lifetime is going to be your gender in every lifetime that you live, unless the vessel is not suitable to enter. Say the vessel's sick or the vessel has a short lifespan, then you have the right to not enter that vessel. Now, back to what I was saying. Say you live 10 lifetimes as a male. On your 11th lifetime, the vessel that you need to enter, which is a male, you can't enter it because it's not suitable to enter. You're given a choice to randomly enter another vessel that's available or return to the entity, return to what you call heaven, and wait for another male vessel to be available. Many souls don't want to wait. Many souls will choose to enter a random vessel. So now they've entered a female vessel for the first time on their 11th lifetime. The soul has been conditioned to live as a male for 10 lifetimes. It can't cope with it because it's conditioned to live as a male. It doesn't know how to live as a female. So the mind and the soul, you know, is conditioned to being a male, not a female. So sometimes that human would want to dress as a male because they lived as a male for 10 lifetimes. And that's where the transgender comes in. Many will decide to accept that they are a woman for the first time. However, they are only attracted to women because they've lived as a male for 10 lifetimes. Let's go on the reverse side. Let's say a person has lived as a female for 10 lifetimes, and now they are going into a male body for the first time. Now that person cannot cope with being a male. They want to feel how it is to be a woman once again. So that's where the transgender comes in. And many accept that they are in a male's body. However, they will only be with other women. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's all about the soul's conditioning. And the human soul cannot control how it feels. So a lot of so-called religions say, well, this is a choice. This is not a choice. The soul has been conditioned for so many lifetimes to live that lifestyle of that gender. So you have to understand the soul's journey. You have to understand why they feel the way they feel. And since it is a human soul, we have to love that human soul because that human soul was created by God. We have to love all human souls. And I understand for many of you, this is very difficult to accept. Whether you are a part of many of these so-called religions or whether you are a part of the LGBTQ community. And maybe this might answer a lot of questions as to why you feel the way you do. I want you to sit and I want you to ponder what I just said. I want your mind to think of what I just said, and I promise you, your soul will accept it because it's the truth. It is the true knowledge of the human soul. I'm going to end this video like I end every video. I love everyone. I love all humans. I want to end this video also by explaining to each of you that are watching this. I want each of you to leave your own comment below. I want to hear what you have to say and what your beliefs are. And I want you to comment on what you think, what I have explained. And I want, if you do like what you hear and what you see, I want you to subscribe so that you could see future videos, and leave a thumbs up because YouTube has an algorithm. When you leave a thumb up, you'll be able to see my future videos. And this is important that we get all of this knowledge out to humanity. And I want all of you to not be deprived of this knowledge. Once again, I love each of you. I love all souls because every soul comes from the entity. It comes from God. And anything that comes from God is only good. I wish each of you an incredible day, and I look forward to seeing you in our future videos. Have a wonderful day.